The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Welcome to the Fine to Fab Show with Lisa Lieberman-Wang, helping women reclaim their inner peace and power, going from feeling fine to being fab, fabulous, awesome, beautiful, serving to empower you to break through the barriers that weigh you down, to live an authentic life that is healthy, happy, and free. Now, here's Lisa.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lisa Lieberman-Wang, your trusted guide on your journey from feeling fine to being fab. The Fine to Fab Show is committed to helping you break through the barriers to live an even more authentic life that is healthy, happy, and free. If you'd like to be part of our community, we'd love to have you join us on a regular basis, not just on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. And you can just text the keyword Fine to Fab to 90210 and hit send. And we always have something special to give away, so join that community. Follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter at Lisa Lieberman-Wang, and check out our website at finetofab.com. We have some incredible free gifts there too. If you'd like to join us live and be able to speak with our phenomenal guest, Dr. Roger Sahoury, I'll be telling you a bit about him in one moment. You can Skype in to W4WN Radio, or you can call in at 561-422-4365. So I'm pretty excited to be here and also have our guest speaker, and I want to tell you a little bit about him. And I'm going to do that. I'm hoping that the audio is okay here. I'm seeing some messages, but we have Dr. Roger Sahoury. He's a chiropractor from Paramus, New Jersey, a mentor to many chiropractors and other health professionals. I like to call him Dr. Roger, but Dr. Roger's Paramus Chiropractic and Wellness Facility is unique and different because it utilizes advanced computer technology that can detect the hidden causes of any health problem with over 50 different techniques to correct the physical, chemical, and emotional blockages that take place. And we're going to talk a lot about emotional blockages today. And what makes us different from most offices, meaning Dr. Roger's office, is they focus on correcting the cause instead of treating any symptoms and masking the problem. He's seen over 300,000 patients. He's a doctor of doctors, stars and athletes. He's a renowned author, international speaker. He has hosted one of the largest community wellness events in the country. Today, his primary mission is to really make a bigger impact on humanity. As you'll see and you'll hear from him, he's just incredible for what he serves on a smaller as well as a global practice. His corporate wellness program that he's put together is a combination of all the experiences and research that have produced massive results in the people throughout the world. And he absolutely understands how to create work environments that employees are raving fans and want to be more with the company as well as yourself as an individual. So I'm excited, and I'm really more excited because Dr. Roger's here with me in our studio. We're going to be recording today. Roger, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is great because a lot of the time that people don't know, and I want them to know, besides the bio I just said, is that you happen to be my doctor.
Yep.
And you know, there's so many different people, they think that I'm doing good and everything else, and I always believe you need to practice wellness, not just illness, and I go for you for wellness.
Absolutely.
So what I want to do is I'd like you to give the people, even though I gave this great little background, more of a thing where you came from. Like, what is it that even started you in the path of taking this direction with wellness, and we'll explain the different protocols of which you actually can help people and how they can help themselves as we go.
Absolutely. So let me get started. So it all started by, I came to this country not speaking a word of English, and my parents wanted us to have a better life for myself and my brother. So one thing that I always wanted to do was make my parents proud. And one thing they always wanted me to become was a doctor, Lisa. So here I am, and I didn't speak a word of English, going through life. And, that was a challenge, especially on an emotional level, right? Going through not understanding how to speak English, only understanding how to speak other languages, and then coming here and going through life as English being your second language, and having some challenges with children and things like that. How it could be rough as a child.
What language did you speak?
Well, I spoke Arabic. Okay, I also spoke a little bit of Hebrew, and then we also spoke a little bit of like French and Italian. I mean, it was just things that we were taught in school. Okay, so here we are, and we're growing up, going through life. Now, fast forward a little bit, and I am studying to become a medical doctor. And at that time, I also loved riding motorcycles. So me and my friends were riding down a highway here in New Jersey called the Garden State Parkway. We were driving down the Garden State Parkway, and my friends got off an exit, and I actually missed the exit. So I pulled over onto the shoulder of the road. Now, sitting there on the shoulder of the road, my friends are walking towards me so we can decide, how we're going to meet up. Well, next thing I see is my one friend's arms go up in the air. And as his arms go up in the air, whack, I got hit from behind off my motorcycle.
Off the shoulder.
Yeah, off the shoulder, right? So now here I am. I'm on the pavement. My whole body is ripped up. As you can see right here over my eye, I had to have surgery over there. Was ripped up. My knee was ripped up. My whole body was ripped up. I herniated 6 discs in my spine, and I bulged 3. Wow. So I'm in agony. So much agony. It was like the biggest tragedy. And I'm in the hospital for weeks on end with getting put on everything that needed to be done for a crisis situation, right? So our medical profession is great for crisis situations. So I was put on your painkillers, your muscle relaxers, your anti-inflammatories, everything to keep my body from, just being in over agony, pretty much. So after being there for a few weeks, and then not really knowing what to do, and then, of course, my healthcare wouldn't cover it anymore, so he said, it's time for you to go. And I had faith in what was going to happen next because I'm starting to become a medical doctor. And I had medical doctors in my family as well. So I get sent out of the hospital, and I go see all these doctors, from neurologists to orthopedists to special surgeons, because I have 6 herniated discs and 3 bulging. And no one really knew where to begin with me. They just kept giving me more and more and more drugs. And I wasn't going to become a big experiment and let them slice me open, especially with what they were doing, years and years ago as far as surgeries. And going through this life and this journey, having my parents peeling me up off the ground like a banana peel on a daily basis, because I just couldn't breathe at times. And you want to talk about being in an emotional state. It caused financial hardship, which of course causes stress and emotional on myself and my family. And I got so depressed that they put me on antidepressants, and I even began to have some suicidal thoughts. I did not want to live anymore in this agony and this pain. And there was just no hope for me, I felt. And then I found chiropractic, and chiropractic is what gave me hope and gave me that light. And at the end of the tunnel, which was that light, which was that hope, which is what gave me my life back. And all because of chiropractic is where I am today. So from that point of time, once I went to chiropractic school, I just wanted to learn every single technique. I was just like a sponge. I wanted to help people like I was helped, like my life was saved, right? Mm-hmm. So I chose to become a chiropractor, as you just heard, instead of becoming a medical doctor, because of this big tragedy that turned into becoming the greatest gift in the world for me.
Right. And other people might have thought it was a tragedy, but instead, you can relate so much more even to any of the patients that you're dealing with and their pain versus somebody saying, I have this, and you not understanding it at another level.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of the times we forget that our emotions affect us physically, but just the fact that you said you had hope. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a big piece that people don't realize, because there are a lot of people suffering, but I believe, because I did it myself, that we put ourselves through even more pain than the physical pain. Mm-hmm. So why don't you give us some examples of different kinds of pains people create, but it's actually a byproduct of the emotions that they're creating and how that affects our body? Because I know your chiropractor is not about bone crushing. It really has so many other...
Yeah, so many people may look at chiropractic as being bone crushing or for neck pain or back pain. But the truth about chiropractic is that it works with the intelligence that we were created with. See, Lisa, we were created with this intelligence from a higher power. I call it God, with one organ in charge, and it's your brain. And your brain is so magnificent and so intelligent, and we have such wisdom within inside of us. that it sends this innate inborn intelligence right down our spine, and that life expression is being expressed right out these nerves to every vital organ in your being. So the way your heart is beating, or your lungs are breathing, or you're digesting food, or you're detoxifying, the way that you even are looking at me right now, the way that you smell, hear, taste, or move any joint or muscle of your being is all from that intelligence and wisdom and life that was created by a higher power. So we always talk about healing occurs from above, down, inside out, right? So when we take a look at emotions, right, whatever we focus on, we feel, and it begins to expand. So you were just talking about pain, yes?
Yes, we were talking about pain. And I know so many people that are in pain, and they just focus on it.
Yeah.
So I know that that's a big thing for others. And sometimes it's like you can't even really find a real challenge going on. I know that.
Yeah. So, there are many times where people will come to chiropractors for pain, or they go to the medical doctors for pain. But when they go to their medical doctors, what do they give them?
A prescription.
Yeah, they give a prescription, right?
That's put me on 13 prescriptions a day in my 20s.
Exactly. So, is that correcting the problem or masking the problem?
Well, usually it's masking the symptom.
Yeah,
it's never take care of the problem at all.
That's right. It's masking it. So it's not really correcting the cause of the problem.
Right.
So as a chiropractor, we look for the cause of the problem. If there's an issue going on within inside of your spine, we're going to remove that interference and allow that innate inborn intelligence to begin to do the healing. Now, only 5% of the time, 5 to 10% of the time, does any pain really truly have to do with your nervous system. So your nervous system, only 5-10% of it has to do with pain. The other 90% of it has to do with functionality, right? So if somebody has heart disease or cancer, they don't feel that. See, they don't feel that. So, for example, the first sign of heart disease 80% of the time is what? It's a heart attack.
Right. Well, but I think of it as a pain because they might have
exactly. So you think
arm,
right?
Their chest,
but the ongoing process of it is it didn't just occur then. That heart disease has been setting in for years and years and years.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So the nervous system and the intelligence of that nervous system has much more to do than just pain. So if somebody has cancer, for example, well, the body is breaking down from all of these stresses, whether they're physical stresses, chemical stresses, emotional stresses, whatever they may be, but you don't feel the pain right then and there until it's what?
Until it's diagnosed as a disease or a heart attack or something happens at that moment.
And we can do that with every single aspect. Right. Same thing with diabetes, right? With so many different types of diseases. But each and every single one of them all carry an emotional component as well.
Well, I want to go into emotional stuff because I know you're a master of that.
Yeah, of course.
And a lot of the times, and I saw this and it bothers me because I was one of the victims of it, is everybody's depressed today. They are on antidepressants, anxiety pills, everything else, and they're living depressed.
Yes.
So talk to us and why don't we just give people examples of even what state got them there, but what are some of the other byproducts that can happen and then how to get out of it.
Okay, great. So let's talk about that. So depression. So depression is a depressed or a decreased feeling or functionality from within. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So someone who would begin to focus on, I'm in a saddened state, I'm in a state that is negative, I'm in an unhappy state, a feeling of maybe angers and resentments that have been building up, or something that was brought up to me by values that weren't really even my own. They come from either mother, father, teachers, or preachers.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So let me give you a story about a patient of mine who came in very depressed.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this patient, and I'm just not going to mention the name, but he comes from a household that parents were very strict, very strong culture, and they showed him love by yelling and screaming, which, to me, when I think of love, you don't think of yelling and screaming. But when you truly look at love isn't just about, oh, I want to have all beauty and happiness in my life. There's also the other side of love, right? So there is going to be some times where people are going to give you some hard love and some people are going to give you some soft love. So they gave him a lot of hard love. So when they gave him this hard love, he became very resentful. Why do my parents speak to me this way? Why do other people's parents speak to them like this? They're always uplifting them, but I feel like my parents are bringing me down. Now this patient has a brother, and the brother is being treated the same exact way by the parents. Now this brother looks at it as, oh, my parents just love me so much, they just want more for me. So that brother became a doctor.
Okay.
The other brother went into a state where he's so angry, so resentful, and he began to turn to partying, drugs, looking for love in the wrong places, and showing people love the wrong way, because he only knows love in one way.
Right.
Really, truly. So he becomes very depressed, and then I begin to work with him, and whenever I'm in his moment or his presence, he begins to escalate. He begins to rise up. He begins to find, wow, somebody else is showing me love a different way. Wow, here are some tools I can use. My parents truly aren't evil. That's just the way that they were taught. It's not their fault. Right. That's just that's how they were brought up. Absolutely. Right? Now, the hope is always for every single person who comes in and depressed, right, to not go into a state of having to be on all these drugs and medications, even though many times that is the one thing that most people go on.
Well, I think they want the pill.
Yeah.
A lot of people just think, and we know there's been so many studies, even with placebo effects, that, well, the doctor gave me a pill and now I'm going to feel better. And it might have even been a placebo, and it was just that thought that made them. They're looking for someone to give them something.
Well, that magic pill is truly from within.
Yeah, I agree.
See, it's that power from within, and we all have it. It all comes down to, are we going to grab that source? Are we going to grab into our source? Because every single one of us have it. See, anything that anyone wants in life is right there. It's right there. You can just grab it. You can hold on to it. You can take charge, and you can have that into your life. It's just people are always breaking themselves down or not focusing on, how do I get there? See, do their daily habits match the outcomes that they're looking to achieve? Because if they don't, if they're not matching, how are you ever going to achieve it? See, the definition of insanity is doing what?
The same thing over
and over and over. And expecting different results.
Right.
And that person I was discussing with you was doing what? The same things over and over and over and expecting a different result. Right. Well, that's not going to get him to his outcome. So, just from both of us being trained in the Tony Robbins world, right? He always teaches you, focus on the outcome, focus on why it is that you want to reach that outcome, and focus on creating that massive action plan. Now, if that massive action plan doesn't work, what do?
You change it.
You change it. You make a different one. If that doesn't work, what do? You change it again.
Yeah.
Well, these are some of the principles that we teach. Keep shifting it until we reach your outcome.
Right. And that blew me away. Even here, a holistic doctor here is over there teaching principles of the mind. Yeah. But, one of the things I'm curious about, and I'm sure is we're both students of every education.
That's right.
And I remember I used to read Louise Hay's.
Yeah.
And when I'd always get the same pain, I always got it in my shoulder blades.
Yes.
And there were always associations to emotions.
Yes.
And you're masterful at that.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, so talk about that, because I had a friend come in to visit you, and I didn't say anything to you about her, and you're already telling her stuff. She comes out, she's like, what did you tell him? And you didn't even touch her. And I said, I didn't say anything.
So if you look at Chinese medicine, right? I mean, they bring up that, for example, anger is stored in the liver, right? Kidneys store fear. The lungs store grief, right? And then there's also and so on and so on. And there's certain timetables. So for example, somebody isn't, sleeping between certain times, or, and then from there we go, oh, why aren't they sleeping? Why are they waking up at certain times? Well, it's all related. So what I begin to do is I begin to tap into some of the many techniques that I've learned and incorporate it into my own, right? Which is called the above and beyond quantum technique. But I mean, there are so many great techniques out there, and some that you hear about are like the energy freedom technique, EFT, or neuroemotional technique, or BEST technique, bioenergetic synchronization technique. All of these have to do with different patterns of emotions related to different organ systems of the body, and helping people overcome them. You even hear of color therapy or sound therapies, things like that. And of course, I've done that with you, right? And I mean, experiencing that, how did you feel?
Well, I didn't even, there's always like a release of something, but I didn't even know what was going on at the time.
Yeah. And it's just amazing, because I see so many people come in with all different types of emotional issues. From being divorced, getting divorced, to a death to somebody who's close to them, to somebody who's just very angry and resentful towards someone, right? Or maybe even themselves. But whenever you focus on these emotions, who's it really hurting? Is it hurting other people, or is it hurting you?
No, I always loved my mother's boyfriend, Howard, always said, hate only hurts the person carrying it.
That's right. And the word emotion stands for energy and motion.
Energy and motion.
Energy and motion, right? So emotion stands for energy and motion. So where do you want your energy to be? What do you want your energy to focus on? Do you want it to focus on the things that are positive or negative, right? See, out of any negative situation, you could always take a positive out of it.
Absolutely.
Any situation. Any negative, you could always turn into a positive. Look what happened to me with my tragedy in life. It was a big pain for somebody else, right? They could have went down, like if it was the one child, like I was discussing the story, well, he may have been dead because he may have gotten addicted to all the drugs.
Right.
Right? Or you could begin to focus on, wow, there is hope, and you see that light, and it shifts your whole consciousness like it did to me. And now I feel like every single person that I come in contact with, whether it's you, whether it's a child, whoever it may be, that I need to always focus on how could I serve them and bring more into their life. Because every single person deserves that. And I do that with my own children. I mean, I love my children so much. They're the greatest gifts in the world. And one thing I always pride myself in is teaching them properly, right? So my one daughter always will say things like, I need this. And I go, Sienna, you don't need it. You want it, right?
You want it.
You want it. And she goes, and I go, Sienna, do you need that? And she goes, no, I want it. And I said, okay, so she's getting the concept,
like
right?
4 years old.
Yeah. It all starts really within the first 6 years of life.
Yes.
See, the first 6 years of life is where, they're in like that trance, right? So you really want to be teaching them properly and embedding great things and positive things that are going to make them become great adults and great children and be able to inspire others, right? And begin to focus on the positivity in life instead of the negative things. Because watching TV, look, I don't want my children watching TV all the time, but the truth of the matter is that they're going to watch it. And they're going to pick up on things that are coming in from the TV. I go, where did she learn that from? Where did she learn that from? And it happens to be from a TV show, right? So they're going to learn these things, or the children that they're around. You can't control that, but all you can do is work with your children and really show them the positivity and things so that they can make their own best choices later on in life.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know you have exercises to help people control their emotional state.
Absolutely.
You want to share?
Sure. You want to run through like a little imagery maybe?
That'd be awesome.
Would that be good? Okay,
Yeah.
Great. So for all you listeners, or Lisa right here in front of me, all right, let's have you close your eyes for a moment.
Unless you're driving.
Unless you're driving. If you're driving, do not close your eyes, okay? But just listen through, right? I want you to focus on, let's begin to run an imagery on, let's say you have pain or an emotional upset, whatever it may be. So let's have you go back into your mind to when this health problem first started, and it could be a health problem. I want you to go back in time, and I want you to see if there's any emotion related to it. How did you feel at that moment? Any anger, any fears, any resentments, any frustrations, any feelings of abandonment, insecurities, any feelings of shame? And I want you to feel that emotion. I want you to get in touch with that emotion. Then I want you to go back. I want you to go back the last 10 years of your life. Go back to your teenage years, your childhood. Now I want you to see if there's any similar emotions that come to mind. And I want you to grab those emotions. Whether they be angers, fears, resentments, frustrations, or any of the other emotions that we discussed. And I want you to grab them with you, carry them with you in a sack. And bring them back to the present. And I want you to picture yourself in a special place, whatever that special place may be to you. Whether it's a park, whether it's a beach, whether it's a mountain, somewhere outdoors. And now I want you to see yourself holding on to a batch of helium balloons. Now, each of these balloons have different sizes, different shapes to them. And I want you to gather these balloons and gather these emotions. And I want you to begin to take these emotions and place them right into those balloons. The bigger the balloon, the bigger the emotion. The smaller the emotion, the smaller the balloon. Take your time. Taking all your angers and beginning to fill up those balloons. and all your fears and filling up the balloons. And all your frustrations and filling up the balloons. Take your time. There is no rush. And any other emotions that you'd like to let go of, and filling up those balloons. As those emotions don't serve you, they may have at a point, but now it's time to release them, to allow the new in. And once you have all those emotions in the balloons, I let you let them go and watch them fly into the sky. Let them fly further and further and further into the sky until you see them go over the clouds, until they're non-existent. And I want you to take a deep breath all the way in and out. And as you breathe in, I want you to breathe in white light, God's white light, right into your being, into every organ, every cell, every fiber of your being, into where that darkness was sitting heavy, whether it be your chest or your neck area or your shoulders or your stomach or your legs, your feet, your lower back, anywhere in your being. And just connecting with God's white light and His energy running right through you. And connecting to that divine spirit and light. And saying, I'm ready for more. I deserve more in my life. I believe I can have more in my life. I have now released these emotions. God is on my side. And take a deep breath in and out. And in and out. You may now come back and open up your eyes slowly as you are now cleared of these emotions. Now, of course, Lisa, I just gave you the rapid, fast version of it, since we're on air and we're limited on time,
yes,
but I mean, I did, speed it up very fast, but, that's one way to do it. Another technique.
And we're going to actually come back with another technique because
Okay.
we're gonna go for a commercial break, and we're going to actually find out why imagery works and why it's so masterful, as it can seem so simple, but it actually has a lot to it. And then also hear another technique from Dr. Roger Sahoury. So remember, if you'd like to join us live, you can Skype into W4WN Radio, and we will be right back. So stay with us, and we have more to share.
Now that I have your attention, ladies, when you need help breaking through the barriers that weigh you down, turning to food is not going to help, and starving yourself along with ongoing feelings of helplessness and frustration will not help either. The cycle of self-sabotage, disordered eating, and stinkin' thinking has to stop, and there is no better way than with other smart, business-savvy women like you who are making the change with best-selling author, licensed master NLP practitioner, and trusted guide, Lisa Lieberman-Wang of Find2Fab.com. Lisa will help you get that breakthrough you've been waiting for. Go to Find2Fabshow.com right now for all the details of the life-changing 10-week transformational program and the special listeners promotion. It's time to turn your life from feeling fine to being fab. Fabulous, awesome, beautiful. Go to Find2Fabshow.com now.
Feeling tired and achy? Frustrated with allergies? Stress causing you high blood pressure? If you're ready to feel better, have more energy, maintain healthy cholesterol levels, joint flexibility and circulation, looking to reduce inflammation, support healthy glucose levels and sinus relief, plus so much more, Isotonics OPC3 is a food supplement made from a combination of bilberry, grapeseed, red wine, and pine bark extracts, and citrus extract bioflavonoids, all found to be powerful antioxidants. Oligomeric proanthocyanins, OPCs, are bioflavonoids found in fruit, vegetables, and certain tree barks that provide exceptional nutritional benefits to the human body. Studies have shown OPCs to be up to 20 times more powerful than vitamin C and 50 times more powerful than vitamin E in neutralizing free radicals. Isotonics is delivered in an isotonic solution, which means that the body has less work to do in obtaining maximum absorption as you can drink your vitamins. No pills, binders, or fillers. Buy now at www.amillionproducts.com. Isotonics OPC3.
If you've always wanted someone to connect with on your path to a happy, healthy you, I've got great news. In her #1 best-selling book, Find to Fab, 7 Secrets of a Successful Woman's Journey Away from Depression, Disordered Eating, and Self-Sabotage, Lisa Lieberman-Wang shares how you can experience your breakthrough just as she did. Start living an authentic life without blame, shame, or years of therapy. Buy now at findtofab.com.
Welcome back. I am really excited to have Dr. Roger Sahoury with us, and we are talking about how our emotions affect our physical well-being as well as so many other things. And we just went through a phenomenal imagery of how we can actually take our emotions and put them in a safe place and eliminate them and literally lighten the burden. I don't know how you felt, but I went through it while he was sharing. And it's so great how something so simple can make such a big difference. But Roger, tell us how, because I know I do this all the time. This is a big part of my craft in helping women. But tell us what it is that it's doing. How can we take something that simple and make it such a difference?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what we're doing is when we begin to eliminate these emotions, we're really taking your body out of a fight or flight system, which is our sympathetic, the way our sympathetic nervous system is functioning. And when we're in that state, we're actually putting you into a parasympathetic state. So a parasympathetic state is more like a feed or breathe, right? So it's a more relaxed state. And when you begin to put your body in a more parasympathetic state, your body just goes at ease. And that's really what we're doing. So we want to take away all that tension that's been built up for all this time and begin to unleash it, just unleash it. So when you begin to unleash that, your body, your lungs will begin to expand more, your diaphragm will open up, your digestion will begin to improve, your mind will begin to clear. And when you begin to do that, it puts you into that tranquil state, right? So that's really what it's doing for you in a nutshell.
Yeah, and it's like what I go after is that inner peace and power.
Yeah, it's inner peace and power, that's it.
And being at that place.
That's
and
right.
Who doesn't want that?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. For sure, that inner peace.
Yeah. So what's another thing, another exercise that they'll be able to listen to this after, they'll have this available on the blog, but what are some other things that people can do to get themselves in a better place emotionally?
Okay, so one thing is how do people start out their days, right? So it's when, for example, when they wake up, what do they do? What most people do, they get up and they may say, oh, I have to go to work, or oh, I got to get my day started, right? And it's the same exact thing like when they go to bed. But if they have a ritual when they wake up in the morning or when they go to bed at night, right? So one thing that I love to do, of course, is do some meditations or do an affirmation, for example. So an affirmation will be like some of the things that we were going through a second ago. I love my life. Today was an amazing day. Tomorrow will even be a better day. Begin to focus on the beauty of what occurred in that day. So every single day I like to write down a moment that I really treasured that day. Or when I wake up in the morning, I want to focus on that and let that expand. I say, okay, well, what do I want to achieve today, right? So when I go to bed at night, I go, okay, there's one thing that I need to achieve the next morning. What is that going to be? So I can rest my head at night and go to bed. And I know that I'm going to accomplish that no matter what the next day. But when I wake up, I like to do like an hour of power. So, for example, I'll get up. I told you emotion stands for energy and motion. So I like to get up. I like to go exercise and work out, get my body moving, right? Because if I move, I'm just releasing any stresses that could be in me, right? So something simple that people could do if they can't get to the gym or if they don't have one in their home is they could just bounce up and down or just jump on a trampoline, right? If you have a trampoline in your house, just jump up and down on that a little bit, right? You can do an affirmation, like I'll start off with something like, today's a great day and I have the opportunity to show up as the best me ever. You know, I'm an irresistible magnet with the absolute power to attract into my life everything and anything that I desire. My life is a huge success, right? So when you begin to affirm things like that into your being, that's how your day is going to be, right? If you wake up and you go, oh God, I have to get up and go to work. See, we can make anything and drag it out. Like, oh, this day's going to be so long. I got to get up. I got to brush my teeth. I got to jump in the shower. I got to get out of the shower. I got to dry my body. I got to walk from the shower into my closet and look for clothes. I mean, you could drag out any process, right? And make it awful and be miserable. Or you can begin to focus on, wow, this day is going to be amazing. This is what's going to happen. And begin to focus on what positive is going to come out of it. So if you begin to do that, that's something that's amazing. Another thing to let go of emotions is write them down. Everything that's on your mind or anything that you want to tell somebody, but maybe you don't want to tell them, right?
Yes.
You write it all down and then read it. Don't do anything with it. In 24 hours, read it and then burn it. Burn it and let it go, right? But when you let it go, you need to let it go.
Yes.
You need to let it go, not go back and harp on it. Say, I'm releasing myself for this. I'm freeing myself for this, right? Because I deserve more. So if you deserve more, then you let it go. Does that make sense?
Right. And how many people are holding on to past that happened 20, 30 years ago and they've been replaying the same story and the pain just magnifies to the point where they're still looking for an answer to something that they've created.
Yeah. So, you know, in many things, right? Relationships, jobs, careers, anything. It's all about the story that we all create for ourselves, right? And the stories are just self-fulfilling prophecies to make you feel okay about it.
Right. And you connect to yourself.
Yeah. And even if you're not right about it, you're always going to find somebody who will make you feel right about it. Because whenever there's somebody who's bringing you down, there's always somebody on the other end bringing you up. You just have to connect with that. So, I mean, I can ask anybody to do this exercise and I say, think of a moment in your life where you were brought down, where somebody was beating you down or you were bringing yourself down. And then I want you to focus on who at that moment in time was bringing you up at the same exact time. Right?
I think most people have a hard time with that because they can find who brought them down fast.
Of course.
Who helped you come up?
Yeah, who helped you come up? Right? Who helped you come up? And the thing is that even when you're down, you're always looking for that person to help bring you up.
Right.
So it could be you bringing yourself up at that moment as well. It doesn't always have to be another person.
Right.
It could always be you.
I think the person bringing a lot of people down is themselves.
Of course it's yourself. See, you know, here's an exercise I like to do with people, right? Is I tell them to close their eyes and then I just say words like, you're nothing, you're worthless, you're a loser, who wants to be around you? And then I'll say, you're loving, you're caring, you're so nurturing, you're somebody who just brings life, you spark me up, you're amazing, you're a godsend. I say things like that. So they begin to see, whoa, I don't like the way I feel when I do that with the negative, right? If somebody talks to me like that, but I love the other aspect of it. But many people are talking to themselves in that negative nature. And when you begin to talk to yourself with that negative talk, if you began to talk to other people that way, who would ever want to be your friend?
No one.
No one. If you talk to other people that way, no one would want to be your friend. Right. So why don't you talk to yourself that way?
Right.
You should be loving yourself. See, happiness comes from within. And we need to begin to love ourselves first. So positive self-talk is where it starts.
I agree. And they say it takes 20 positive statements to counteract even one negative.
That's right.
So think about how many things we say to ourselves, like I'm stupid, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not bright enough, and whatever. And all the other things. I tell people just to say cancel or jump up and move to another place instead. Who said that?
I always say cancel. I didn't know cancel. Somebody said, no, cancel. You didn't say that.
Yeah, I didn't say that. Who said that? Who said that?
Cancel, right? And it really comes down to, reclaiming and redoing your blueprint. And shifting your rules and shifting your values, begin to focus on that and taking the power away from emotions, right? So, we give so much power to emotions that begin to destroy us. So shift the power, change the meaning of the emotion. You're going to change the meaning of the emotion, you'll shift your life forever.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many other things that we think we can control. We might as well master this.
That's
This
right.
is a better thing to master.
That's right.
You know, Roger, I know that with the corporate wellness programs you've been doing
Yeah.
and bringing this into practices, a lot of business owners, and we deal with business owners as well,
Yeah.
and I don't think that people even understand how the emotions even affect them stress-wise, but even financially.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know you've done so many studies, you've
Yep.
had case studies done as
Yep.
well as practical.
Absolutely.
Why don't you share some of that?
Sure, great. So, I mean, when we begin to look at how emotions can affect our business, for example, well, let's just say this: emotions, sicknesses, diseases, whatever they may be, in the corporate world, absenteeism is a term, right? And absenteeism is where people just don't show up to work because they're not feeling well, right? Well, absenteeism is costing corporate America $74 billion a year.
Wow. So any business owner that has people not showing up is a huge expense.
That's right. And then there's something called presenteeism. Those are the people who are actually going to work under this emotional stress, maybe having headaches or migraines or digestive issues or trouble breathing or neck pain or back, whatever it may be, right? Yeah, which many people are going to work like that every single day, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's called presenteeism. That's actually costing the corporations 7.5 times more than absenteeism is.
Wow.
Wow. Now that is, think about how much money that's costing corporate America, but not costing corporate America. Think about how much money it's costing the people who are suffering this way and their families as well.
Right.
Because if somebody can't be present at their job, most likely they're not present where? At home with their families either.
Right.
Or they're taking their work and they're bringing it home and they're becoming more and more stressed, so they're not present, and then their relationships are going to do what?
And it's a
Break down.
domino effect.
It's a domino effect, right? So, I mean, as a father, I know when I come home, I definitely want to be present for my children.
Absolutely.
Right? And I want to put work aside and be present for them. So whenever I'm in a situation, I want to be present with whoever I'm with. And that's so important. So if I'm at work, I need to be present being there, or I should not be there.
Right.
Right? But also the thing is if we begin to focus on working on clearing out those emotions, focus on making sure that our nervous system is running right through proper chiropractic care, releasing any toxins in our being, focusing on, just being around the computers and stuff alone is giving off a lot of electromagnetic pollution. Showing yourself how to protect yourself, proper ergonomics, even just sitting there, getting up and doing stretch breaks, right? So, I mean, I've created customized applications for corporate America. I've created a whole system. I mean, I wrote a book.
Yes.
I'm the one who wrote a book on it, right?
Yeah, you wrote the book on it.
Yeah, I wrote the book on corporate wellness, right? Called The Gladiator's Guide to Corporate Health and Wealth. And it's a battle plan to slay the 7 arch enemies of corporate profitability. So we have the answers for you, corporate America.
That's
right?
awesome.
Yeah. So and it's just so detailed, but it's also so simple.
Right.
It's so simple. So you really got to put people first. I mean, there was a guy who actually wrote the book called People First, and his name was Jack Lanham. And, he's in a lot of corporations as well. And, I mean, his model is just put the people first. And, of course, that's part of our model as well, right? But also, how are you really putting them first? And we have systems in place for helping the corporations have a healthier culture and workplace, and also helping the employees to want to be in there. So we stop the turnover, increase profitability in the workplace, right? I mean, what corporation does not want to increase their profits?
Well, there's
right?
none, but I mean,
and decrease their turnover.
Even as the employee,
Yeah.
Can you imagine a culture? You look at Zappos,
Zappos culture is unreal.
Unbelievable.
Unreal.
And all these other things, even Apple,
Yep.
I mean, the whole culture.
Yeah, Google's got a great culture.
They
and I
make
did that in my office.
And I think that what happens, people go to work and it's like they're miserable at work, and you spend most of your life there.
Yeah.
You think about the hours in the day that you spend waking there. Yeah. You want to make it a healthy environment. Mm-hmm. And even for myself, I mean, my work is actually I have a home-based business. Yep. So I even have my rebounder. So in between,
awesome.
I'm doing great things for myself. I keep myself away from the state. I get yelled at by you when I'm at the computer too long. And I need to take a break. Yep. I mean, these are things that are awesome conditioning that we need to get other people to know. Like even at work, sometimes getting up, taking a walk, and making a lap around the office is going to come back and be better serving for the job, for the office, the bottom line.
I mean, I have a formula. It's performance plus productivity equals profits, right, for corporate America, right?
Right.
Because if they're performing properly by taking care of their health, right, they're going to become more productive. They're not just going to be busy. See, busy is not going to increase profits. Busy equals broke, right? Performance plus productivity equals profits for these corporations, right? But as long as they are listening, we're given 2 ears and 2 eyes for a reason, right? And we're given 1 mouth for a reason. So if you begin to listen to your employees and watch how they're performing, they're going to give you so much more because they're going to see that you care about them. And every single person wants to be cared about. You know, I don't care how tough they are with their skin. They all want to be cared about. And that's really what it's about. It's about caring about people and just giving them love and supporting them, and they'll support you in your mission. So it shouldn't be a job. It should be a mission. So in my workplace, it's a mission. It's not a job. So I would like to think that my employees are very happy.
Well, you do. You go into your office. I've never seen this atmosphere before. I walk in and the first time I went in there, and one of your employees, it was so cool. She comes over and I don't know what you said to her, but Marie just came and she gives me this big hug and I'm like, who does that?
Yeah.
She's like, give her some love. What are you doing?
Yeah, she's the love blaster, right? So it's about love blasting. We want to love blast our patients. We want to make it an experience for them. Before they walk in, we want to know who they are, right? So before they even walk through the door, if they're a new patient, we know their name before they come in, right? Cool. We don't sit there through the desk and give them the piece of paper. We walk around, right? So it's all about creating an experience, a culture, wanting them to feel like it's at home, that we care about them, it's family, because we do care about them. We want to see everybody get well. That's why all these miracles occur.
Yeah. Well, Roger, I want people to know how to reach out to you and also how you're putting your mission out. So let's make sure everybody can find you.
Awesome.
So tell them how.
All right. So if they want, for my website is one way. They can go to drsahoury.com. So that's DRSAHOURY.com. The other thing they can do is they can call my office at 201-265-0555. And they can also find me on Facebook. They can go to facebook.com/Dr. Sahoury, SAHOURY. Again, that's another way to find me. And they can also access my my ebook through my website, which is drsahoury.com. There's a complimentary ebook with 52 health tips. And then from there, when my corporate wellness book will be out in about 2 weeks. So you guys will be able to get access to that as well. We'll give you all that information. And if you want to be on another list, you can just text 90210 and put DRR. And that's it. That's
Dr. R.
Yeah, Dr. R. And that's how you'll be able to reach me. And any single person who's listening to this right now can have a complimentary examination as a gift for your audience, Lisa, into my office for a complimentary examination. It's valued at $700 at no charge.
Very cool.
And you guys could all get my ebook on my website as well at no cost as a gift from me to you guys.
Well, that's great.
All right.
That's absolutely wonderful. And we'll make sure that all this is available on the blog. So on my blog, so they'll have the links. So they don't have to worry if they didn't get the spelling down.
Yep.
And I want to thank you, Roger, again for being my guest. You're incredible. And I know that our conversations don't end, but this one has to.
Yep.
So what we want to do is remind you all that you are fabulous, awesome, beautiful, and it's just a matter of taking every day, one day at a time, and to make sure that you are living an even more authentic life that is happy, healthy, and free. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn at Lisa Lieberman-Wang, or go to the website at www.findtofab.com and sign up for the 8 free tips to living a happier life now, as well as all the other gifts that Dr. Roger has already bestowed upon you. We look forward to sharing with you next week. Again, you're fabulous, awesome, beautiful.
Hey there, this is your life talking to you. Yes, I know it's unusual. You think that you are just living your life, but now here I am. I just had to speak up if you and I are going to have the best. Yes, you've had some success with me, but you know things could be better. I know how tough it's been to fight depression and the habits that lead you to self-sabotage and disordered eating. I applaud you for all the professional and self-help remedies that you have tried so far. But let's face it, they haven't worked. But it's not your fault. I know. I was there, remember? It's time that you listen to me for a change. I want you to go to www.findtofab.com findtofabshow.com and find out how best-selling author Lisa Lieberman-Wang can make me your life fabulous. Right now, Lisa is offering a 10-week transformational program for us. Mention the show and we'll get a really great discount. Hey, I'd go online and do it for us, but I don't have any fingers. So go ahead and go to www.findtofabshow.com and let's make the changes we need today so we can have a better tomorrow.